Hey everybody, Chris and PJ here live in the Dream Giveaway Garage.
Happy Tuesday.
Tuesday. The reason that PJ is not quite sure what day it is because we're continuing Mailbag Monday because there were questions that came in late. And instead of making folks wait until the next Mailbag episode, we're going to start today's episode and get to these questions.
And we always answer your questions here. So if you've got more, go ahead and fire them away.
Fire them up, fire them away.
That's right.
Either way, let's start here with the outdoor giveaway. So that's a Ford F-250 powered by that 7.3-liter Godzilla engine. And David Worst would like to know, how easy is it to remove the camping accessories from the outdoor truck in case he wants to use a truck bed?
Because we've had it open a couple of times here in the garage.
We have.
I don't know who did it.
But here's the thing, David. You don't have to remove the camping accessories to access the truck bed. The tailgate will still come down. You can still slide things into the back like cargo. So think of that whole camping apparatus like a tonneau cover, right? You can still slide stuff in. Now, if your question is, how do you get full use of the bed and how hard is it to remove the camping accessories? I asked Lori, because she was involved in putting this project together. And she said, you and your friends, don't try it by yourself. It's a heavy apparatus. It'll take you about an hour.
Oh.
So now you know.
That's interesting.
But maybe you don't have to do it. Maybe what you need to put in the bed, you can just slide it right in, like a static tonneau cover. Jesus would like to know, what do I think is the future of the automotive industry, especially with rising costs from advanced technology and safety systems? Well, no country is greater than America, and no mode of transportation is greater in America than the automobile. So, let me give you some backstory on this. Let's take any classic car that we have here, the Roadrunner. So that retailed for what, about $3,500 back in the day, maybe a little bit less. And it didn't have airbags, it didn't have anti-lock brakes, it didn't have air conditioning. So if you took that cost and you did the inflation calculator,
about 40 grand.
About 40 grand. But can you buy a high performance car now for 40 grand? You can't. New Mustang Dark Horses start at about 59. And so the reason that has all occurred is because all of the safety and luxury and convenience technologies that have now been built into every automobile. You can't go out and buy a new automobile in America, as far as I know, and say, I don't want air conditioning on it. I don't want power windows on it. I don't want cup holders in it. I don't want airbags. I don't want anti-lock brakes. They automatically come with it. So America adjusts to what the manufacturers are putting out and what the federal government mandates as far as safety and technology are concerned. And if you think about it, the automotive industry is usually reactive to these technologies. The government will say, by this year you need to have airbags. By this year you need to have anti-lock brakes. And you can go all the way from the history of the automobile, windshield wipers, safety belts, seat belts. All of those came because the federal government needed to enforce safety regulations in America's favorite pastime.
And now cars go way faster than they did back in the 60s.
Way faster. And I don't want you to get into a wreck, but if you get into a wreck in a modern automobile, you're probably going to walk away from it. And we all have heard stories or know someone from back in the day who got in a wreck before airbags and before anti-lock brakes, and they're not with us anymore. So in that case, or in that view, safety is good for these automobiles. So we will adjust, and the automotive industry will adjust to the advanced technology and safety systems, and people will keep going out and buying cars. Because here's the thing. Most people buy cars to get from A to B. I know none of us want to hear it, but it's the truth, right? Look how many, I'm not going to name a utilitarian car, But think of them out there. People buy them to get to A to B. And so people are just going to say, that's what they come with. That's what they're giving me. And that's how most of the industry works. Of course, we're a little bit different here because we live, breathe automobiles, passionate automobiles, just like you guys. So there you go. I know that was a little long-winded. Luke would like to know, what type of cars will you guys never do? I've talked about this before. There are so many cool cars that are out there. We have to pick the cars that appeal to a big car enthusiast audience. So there are cars that probably we won't do. I think we probably want to do, I don't know, a 60 Ford Thunderbird or a 58 Pontiac Catalina Chieftain. And we probably want to do, you know, an old 50s Ford retractable sunroof car. We might not even ever do a wagon or, you know, some of the obscure stuff like first generation Barracuda or an AMC Marlin. There's stuff out there. And if you love these cars, I'm with you. I totally get it. But most of our audience, you want a cool Mopar, you want a cool Chevy, you want a cool Pontiac. And those cool years kind of happen between what? 1957 and 1970, maybe 1963 to 1972, wherever you draw those lines.
Someone asked me the other day why we wouldn't do a 41 Willys or something like that.
Right, because and nothing against that, but it is a narrow niche audience who really will want to donate to win that more than they would want to win a 69 Camaro, right? And it's the same thing as the auctions. Why does a 69 Camaro go for $100 grand and an AMC Marlin, I'm not picking on AMCs, I promise, go for $12,000? I mean, that's the market, and that's what the enthusiast community says is a popular car.
Let's see, as Martel says, Ford Pinto.
Right. We are definitely not giving away a Ford Pinto. No offense to our friends at Ford.
Luke has a secondary question to his first. Do you do foreign tuner companies as well? Not sure.
Foreign tuner? Do you mean like tuner cars on a Porsche or on a Mercedes? We would if the right car came around. And Luke's other question has to do, will we do more vehicles like the Hennessey? We have one Hennessey T-Rex that's here, big horsepower, and it's got a great supercharger package on it. So we look for the right cars. We don't look for what tuner name is on a car. We look for the right car, and we'll continue to do so.
Dwayne says, will you ever do a GTO Judge? Ooh.
We have.
We have that orange beauty.
Let's go up here and see if we can find it up here.
Oh, I don't know where it is. It was a beautiful
about
vehicle.
2017 or 2018. I want to see if I can find it here on the...
There's a lot going on up there, Chris.
Yeah. All right, guys, I don't see it up there. I'm going to look on one more row.
But yes, we've done a
have
GTO
done it.
Judge in the past.
Yeah, we did a Carousel Red 69 Judge Ram Air 3 4-speed hardtop car. And the Liberty Blue GTO convertible had the Judge powertrain in it. It had that M20 wide ratio, and it had the 400 cubic inch Ram Air 3 engine. So yes, and how convenient that I am now standing right next to a first gen GTO.
It's beautiful.
So if we find for our next GTO giveaway, a Judge, a 69 Judge, and the 70 is cool too, but I think people prefer the 69. I think if we find the right one, it might just be the one after this.
Mike Brown says this is about the charities. Got to have cars that appeal to most donors.
And that's what I've been saying, Mike. You know, there are such cool cars that I love. I love some Buick models and some Oldsmobile models, but it doesn't mean that necessarily that everybody does.
Dwayne says, I like how Chris does the door closing test on the muscle cars. I know
Let's do it.
what this means.
Let's do this. How we're standing right here. How nice that you just asked me to do this. I didn't pay you to do that. Wow.
It is nice.
I love it. I'm going to leave these questions right here. we are 3 days away from an awards ceremony, PJ.
Yeah.
And the Rapid Blue Corvette that's right here behind you, and if you move the camera over here, that is now right in front of me, will be given away on Friday with the 2024 Stingray. That's
one of my favorite cars in the garage, Chris.
That's this?
Yeah, I'm going to be very sad to
You
see
like
this
the
thing go.
resto mods,
I do.
don't you? And we're only days away, so I'm going to give you a little teaser. There will be a new Corvette Dream giveaway. It will launch on February 1st. It will have something new that's incredibly cool, and it will have something classic that's incredibly cool. That's all I'm saying today. But I think that if you watch the awards ceremony on Friday, we might even have those on the stage so that you can see them. They might be to the side of the cars that were actually given away. So don't miss the awards ceremony on Friday.
Pete Vanderwall says, will you ever do a Studebaker Golden Hawk?
Once again, totally cool looking car, right? Studebaker Golden Hawk. But again, it's not going to have the popularity of a 69 Camaro or a 70 Chevelle or an AAR Cuda. So no, I don't see us doing anything in the Studebaker line. I don't want to upset you, and I think they're incredibly cool cars, but again, that's a narrow audience.
Mike says, anxiously waiting the Shelby winner announcement next week. Absolutely.
Right, February 2nd, from what I hear, the independent accounting firm will be letting us.
Or is that the 6th? Maybe, I can't remember.
One of the two.
I think it might be the 6th.
And the accounting firm is going to have to pick not only a grand prize winner for the Shelbys, but a runner-up winner for that autographed Tony Stewart Stetson hat, Carroll Shelby's Stetson hat.
Rick says 1972 Cutlass 442, please.
Well, that is a really, really cool car. And if we were to do a 72 Oldsmobile, my guess is that we would do a Hurst Olds hardtop, a 455 hardtop. And I've got to tell you, that's one of the cars on my personal I'd like to own list. So yeah, that would be cool. But that Hurst Olds convertible up there, and we spoke about it several times. Man, that's a beautiful car.
It is February 6th, by the way.
Okay.
How about having an AMC Scrambler as a giveaway? Terry says.
Once again, very, very narrow audience who will stop what they're doing to make sure that they got their entries for that. Totally cool car.
How about pairing a Volkswagen Bug with a Porsche? Roger says.
Roger, are you thinking of the old Porsche? What is it? The square one from the early 1970s that had the Volkswagen in it. What is that, 914? Am I correct on that? I think that's what Roger is thinking of. No, if we're going to do we've talked about Porsches. For a Porsche, we want to make sure that you guys have one that is still covered under manufacturer warranty, because a classic one can, require a lot of upkeep. So I think for Porsches, we're going to stay with brand new Porsches.
Gary says maybe a 70s Chevy sidestep truck.
We did that amazing C10, that lowered C10.
72, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, that customized one with the LS engine in it. That was an incredible resto mod on it. We'll see. We've talked about it.
Mike says need another show and tow giveaway.
We've talked about doing another show and tow as well. And yesterday we talked about aluminum trailers and Futura. And we'd like to have them on board in the future. No pun intended. So yes, there will be other show and tow giveaways coming up. I think that we kind of have our fair share of trucks in the garage right now. So let's wait until some of those go home with winners, and then we can start talking about a new show and tow for you guys.
David says, is it possible to have a package that includes a car lift for your garage? We are looking for another lift company.
We are looking for a lift company. If you're friends with a lift company, send them our way.
Yep.
Anything else?
I think that's about everything. Oh, wait, we should really start mentioning a little bit about the give back giveaway. If you want to create an account, you can actually see it in your account when you go there. If it's something that's new on our website.
Right. Very good. There was one other question. Let's walk over to the Challenger, and we're going to end the video here today.
What is going on over here at the Challenger?
We had another question. Why aren't the letters D, help me spell this, guys, O, D, G, E.
He would be right there.
Yeah.
Right here on the top or right here in the grill?
No, right here. Why aren't they there?
Why isn't the Dodge?
I have not been able to get an answer on this, and I'm continuing to research this and to get a definitive answer. I have looked at vintage magazine advertisements. It might have something to do about the hood on here. It may have something to do with the month that this vehicle was produced. But here's one thing that I know. Remember, this was a personal car of the president of the Chrysler Corporation. And so I don't think that he would have restored it incorrectly. There's new, old stock, almost everything on this vehicle. I mean, down to small stuff that most of us would never worry about. So he went above and beyond to make sure that this vehicle was correct, the way that it left the factory back in, maybe late 1969. Yeah, I think it's an early build car. So with that being said, I think it's correct, but I don't know why the Dodge letters are not on this vehicle built this month.
Cheetah wants to know if we ever done a Ford Pantera.
We were talking about it today. We were talking about a Pantera today. We might. We'll see.
Well, that's a lot. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
Stuff that could
and
come
some
down
great
the way.
suggestions. And again, the ones that we think are going to engage with you, the donors, the most, are the ones that we'll do. And it's not dissing the other great vehicles and the niche vehicles, because they're all cool. But we got to pick the big stuff.
Like they said earlier, it is definitely all about the charities.
Right. There's a list of all the charities right there. And how many veterans charities are we up to now, PJ?
Looks like 4.
So we've got National Guard Educational Foundation. That's not only the oldest, part of the oldest military branch in the United States, but we've got Honor Flight of West Central Florida, Building Homes for Heroes, and Healing for Heroes. So 4 out of 8.
Yep.
That's pretty good stuff. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. We've got to start getting ready for this awards ceremony on Friday, so we'll see you next time with more great fun, more great action, and more great grand prizes. It only happens right here in our favorite place on earth, the Dream Giveaway.